Hello, I'm Robert Baug. You are watching a channel about proper nutrition and health. In this video, I will tell you about how to eat right during self-isolation and not gain weight that will then be difficult to lose. Watch the video till the end, like and comment. Due to the coronavirus epidemic, we found ourselves in conditions of self-isolation, during which many gained weight and at the same time experienced great stress, which also leads to weight gain. Today we will talk about how to eat right so as not to gain weight. What foods to eat during quarantine to strengthen your immune system and not gain weight. And what should be the diet? Keeping slim in quarantine is not an easy task, but in fact it is not so difficult to take 15 minutes of time to exercise, go to bed correctly and at the same time and throw out food garbage. And now we will move on to the basic rules that you need to follow during self-isolation. The first basic rule is that we eat no more than 3 times a day. In general, there has now been a fairly strong perversion regarding the number of meals. If we take our ancestors as an example, they always ate once or twice a day. Now, for a modern person, the interval between meals at 5 hours is considered a rather serious decision. We begin to suffer and come up with a lot of excuses why we need to eat much more often. As a result, this happened. The modern diet, which is very rich in refined carbohydrates, has led to metabolic disorders and carbohydrate metabolism disorders. And now, when the interval between meals becomes more than 3 hours, we feel discomfort. You may feel dizzy, you may feel weak, you may have tachycardia. All this suggests that you have carbohydrate metabolism disorders, and here you need to pay close attention to your diet. An acute feeling of hunger and severe discomfort even in the gastrointestinal tract indicates that you are experiencing very strong jumps in blood glucose levels. This suggests that your diet is oversaturated with carbohydrates. In general, if there is no violation of carbohydrate metabolism, then a person can easily withstand 5 to 6 hour intervals between meals. Why is this happening? With the right carbohydrate balance, the body is very easily and smoothly rebuilt from sugar, as an energy source, to fats, as a second source of energy. And a healthy person does not notice these jumps and does not feel any discomfort. Many people are afraid to give up pasta, bread, rolls, sugar, because they believe that their body will not survive without it. Of course, it is not true. The end product of the breakdown of all carbohydrates is glucose. It is not necessary to consume fast refined carbohydrates to obtain it. In conditions of lack of physical activity, you should make a choice in favor of green vegetables and berries. You should not be afraid of the lack of a large amount of sugars, because our body is able to synthesize glucose even from protein through the process of neoglucogenesis. And so what about the number of meals? You can stick to 2-3 meals a day during self-isolation. The only exception is diseases of the gastrointestinal tract of the acute stage. The second rule that is often violated during self-isolation. This is eating with gadgets or in front of the TV. Of course, a large number of studies have already proved, and simply common sense, that when a person eats while holding a phone in his hand or watches some series, of course this person will overeat, because there is no signal from the stomach to the brain that I am full, stop eating. You just eat automatically. In addition, while watching programs, it is unlikely that you eat a vegetable salad. Most often these are empty calories. These are various juices, soda, beer, chips, popcorn. And of course you will gain weight if you practice this diet. Therefore, the second rule, we do not eat in front of the TV. We eat only in a calm state sitting at the table without any gadgets. The third rule, if you want to eat, drink warm water. It's actually a healthy habit to drink warm water throughout the day and especially on an empty stomach before breakfast, but try to follow the same rule when you're feeling hungry. Why? Your feeling of hunger may be false. Most often, a person initially does not understand the difference between hunger and thirst. This is partly because the center in the brain that is responsible for hunger is very close to the center that is responsible for thirst. And studies show that more than 80% of people who feel hungry are actually thirsty. Therefore, at the first sign of hunger, the first thing you do is drink a glass of warm water. If you have lost the feeling of hunger, good, then it was thirsty, and if after a glass of warm water you still feel hungry, then after 30 minutes you can already eat. The next rule that you should not underestimate is breathing exercises. With a lack of oxygen, the fat burning process stops and you feel a significant deterioration in well-being. Therefore, during self-isolation, at least once a day, with the window open, you should take 15 breaths and 15 deep exhalations. Just like physical exercise, which allows us to build muscle mass, with the help of breathing exercises, we can develop our lungs. For example, the simplest technique. Calmly and controlled breathing at 6 breaths per minute. This exercise is designed to increase carbon dioxide in the lungs, which helps to expand blood vessels and improve blood circulation. And so how do we exercise? You set a timer for 5 minutes, sit in a chair, straighten your back and lower your shoulders. Put one hand on your chest, put the other hand on your stomach. We breathe calmly with our nose in such a way that only the hand on our stomach moves. We do 5 counts on the inhale and 5 counts on the exhale. There is a Buteyko method, according to which you do 4 counts for inhalation and 6 for exhalation. You can also choose absolutely any breathing exercises that you feel comfortable doing. I remind you that the whole point is in their systematic implementation. Therefore, try to perform this exercise from 2 to 10 times during the day. The next rule is the duration of sleep. As sleepologists say, according to studies, the full number of hours of sleep should be from 7 to 8 hours. This allows us to restore the level of our immunity. Lack of sleep produces the hormone ghrelin, which the next day will provoke overeating. And the last rule, probably one of the most important and at the same time difficult, is this: work with stress. Of course, in everyday life we also experience stress, but the danger lies precisely in chronic stress. When we experience it day after day for a long time. Why does this lead to dangerous consequences? When we are chronically stressed, we constantly have high levels of the stress hormone cortisol. High levels of the stress hormone cortisol lead to a constant release of glucose into the blood. When blood glucose levels rise, insulin rises. And we already know that this condition is called insulin resistance. The state of insulin resistance leads to weight gain, metabolic syndrome, obesity, and most importantly, it maintains a chronic level of inflammation in the body. Therefore, the level of chronic stress cannot be underestimated, and the first and most important thing we should start with is correcting our diet. When you stress eat even more refined carbs, and you're stressing your body again. We remember that we eat 3 times a day, while each meal should consist of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And we categorically exclude all fast food and trans fats from our diet. Let's still take care of your body, and it will answer you with gratitude. Subscribe to our channel and do not forget to click on the bell to receive new videos with life hacks on how to eat right.